Welcome to Sean Can't Cook, but John Can. Sean and I have been actors for many years, but I assure you, this is no act. He really can't cook. I'm going to teach Sean and you at home how to feel more comfortable in the kitchen, preparing tasty recipes that even the most novice of cooks can create. I will show you step by step how to construct each dish so that when your friends come over, they'll ask, "How'd you learn how to make that?" If you already know how to cook, I hope you'll find a few recipes to add to your repertoire. Let's see what's on today's menu. Hello and welcome to Season 5, Episode 4, our 5th season finale of Sean Can't Cook, but John Can.
I really can't.
But he's getting better. You're going back to your old tagline.
I know.
You gotta come up with something new again. This is our 4th episode of Thanksgiving Redo, as we're calling it. We did mashed potatoes, stuffing, a pumpkin spice cake with figs, and today we're going to tackle a vegetable. We're doing broccoli polonaise.
What is a polonaise?
I knew you were going to ask that. Polonaise is just simply breadcrumbs and chopped hard-boiled egg, and usually some sort of herb, parsley. I'm using thyme today. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually adding onions to mine. We're going to caramelize those. But you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself, as I often do. So is the Sean Cam ready?
Of course.
Okay, it's always ready. So let's show you what goes into this, and let's get started. The ingredients that you will need for the broccoli polonaise are 2/3 of a cup of plain, not seasoned breadcrumbs, a small to medium onion, depending on your choice. I'm using a sweet onion. I prefer that. Sliced into thin strips. I cut it in half and then just cut it into half moon shape. 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. You can adjust those to your liking. And 1 teaspoon of dried thyme. I tried fresh. I prefer the dried in this. This is 1/4 of a cup of grated Asiago cheese. Now you'll see some specks in there. This one came with rosemary on it. You don't have to look for that. I like Asiago. You can use Romano, Parmesan, whichever cheese you would like. 2 large hard-boiled eggs chopped up. The star of our show, these are broccoli crowns, just the top part. You can buy broccoli with the stem if you would like and slice that thinly. I prefer the crowns. Looks a little prettier, but you can use whichever you want. This is about 1 to 1 1/4 pounds of broccoli crowns. The equipment that you'll need is a cutting board and knife to chop up the broccoli. I'm using a small pan with 1 tablespoon of butter to saute the onions. We're going to caramelize those. A little bit larger pan. This is 3 tablespoons of butter and 1 teaspoon of olive oil. I kind of guessed, I just poured it in, so a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half of olive oil. I found, ooh, there goes the butter. This helps to make them a little less dry. I found just using butter wasn't quite as good as adding a little bit of oil. And I'm going to use a little steamer basket that you just put inside of a large pot to steam the broccoli. I'll put a lid on top of it. You only need to put a little bit of water on the bottom, about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. And that's it. Let's get cooking. First step, we're going to prep the broccoli. So I've got a large pot. There's about 1/2 inch of water. No, you can't probably see that, but just a little bit of water in the bottom. You don't need a lot, but enough so that it doesn't boil away. Mm-hmm. So you put this on top and it will steam. If you don't have one of these, you can boil them. Just check it. You don't want this to overcook. Well, I don't want this to overcook. This is a personal preference, adaptable cooking, as we've said ad nauseum. You cook it as long as you want to. You and I like it a little bit on the crisper side. Yes, I don't want it raw, but I like it firmer. Mm-hmm. And it goes from firm to not so firm pretty quickly. So we're going to watch this. So what we're going to do now, if you want to use the stem, what I usually do is peel off some of the outside. It's a little bit tough. And you can use that if you want. Today I'm not going to use it. What I'm going to do is save the bottom part. I like it raw on top of a salad. You could use it in a soup. So let me get rid of this. That's just it. This outside, it's a little bit tough, so I would get rid of that. And our automatic trash can back there. So what you want to do, if you're just going to use the tops, is cut this off, the bottom part, and you can save that. Again, I'm going to chop it up raw for a salad. If you want, you can cut up into thin little discs. It takes longer to cook than the crown part does. So you want to make sure that it's very thin, because this does not, this cooks. So I get rid of some of these on the side. A lot of people don't. I just don't like them. So what you want to do is cut, let me get this out of the way. Cut these in half like that. So they're not about, that's about the size I'm going for. If they're smaller pieces, you might not have to cut them in half. But again, this middle stem part is going to take a little bit longer. So when you get to here, some of these just start breaking off after you've cut that bottom part off. Sometimes you can just rip them off. If not, you can just go in and start cutting these off.
Okay.
Cutting them up. And again, if you're not going to use that like I'm not, you can set that aside and use that for something else. These little things on the side, I take those off.
You don't like those?
I don't. They're okay, but I mean, some of them are like big, you know,
I don't
stock.
like them.
So see this small one? You can just leave that like that is, like that came out. But these have a little bit thicker stem or a little bit bigger. Cut them in half, and that's all. And those are all going to go into the pot, and you're doing a beautiful job. So we're going to finish these, come back, and we'll show you how to put it all together. Onions and breadcrumbs, butter, yeah, it's butter. You know what? It's Thanksgiving. We're all going to overeat, so why not have a little butter? So let's go to the stove. We're going to do both of these at the same time. So the bigger pan, I've melted the butter. The oil is in there. We're going to sprinkle the breadcrumbs. This one, we're going to start with the onions. We're going to get those caramelized.
You're doing this at the same time.
Yep. This is what cooking's all about. So we're going to turn that one up a little bit. So I've got two handy-dandy little spatulas.
Those are really nice.
These are silicone, so they can take the heat. So I'm going to use the little spoon for this. And you want to toast this. You don't have to go too high heat because you don't want them to burn. But right now we're just trying to get the butter and the oil incorporated into the breadcrumbs. And I'm just going to even that out a little bit. So that's pan one going. We're going to toast these breadcrumbs. We'll come back in a little bit and show you what that looks like. Now over to the onions. We're going to caramelize these.
Delicious.
I love caramelized onions. So you can, again, adaptable cooking, cook these as much or as little as you want to. And also adaptable, if you don't like onions, you can leave them out and just make this without. This is something I just sort of came up with because I thought, what else can I do differently than just have the broccoli? So these are going to caramelize. We'll come back and show you in a minute what that looks like. And just so you know, in the back, Sean, we're going to go back to the left here. I didn't tell you that beforehand, but thank you for adjusting. Adaptable camera work.
Yeah.
This is the broccoli, but it's not cooking.
That's a lot of broccoli.
It is, but this is going to steam quickly. So we're going to leave that sit back there, but again, the heat is not on. We're going to get these two finished first, set those aside, and cook the broccoli. So we'll be back and show you what it all looks like. I don't know about you, Sean, but the smell of sauteed caramelized onions just makes me hungry. So let's go put this together.
Okay.
So let's go over to the broccoli first. I just turned this on. So we're going to turn it up. The water's not boiling yet. We're going to cook this for 5 to 10 minutes. We'll show you what that looks like to our preference. So we're going to let that go. In the meantime, back here, you can see, these are the breadcrumbs. If you're not, the color changed. They're darker. And you can feel them.
You can hear them.
Okay, you can hear that. Good. Okay, that's crunchy. The onions, let's go back up front here.
Sure.
These are nice and caramelized. I'm going to turn the heat off. So, bear with me, Sean. We're going to put this to the front. This is off heat, by the way. We're going to backwards
Oh my
for
god.
the camera. I'm getting better at this.
Look at how good you're doing.
Put the onions in.
Oh, goodness.
And we're also going to go back here and we're going to grab the eggs.
There they are.
And the cheese, which
so yummy.
I love. Whoops, don't want to miss any of that goodness.
No, measured it out. All needs going there.
That's right. And salt, pepper, dried thyme.
Mm-hmm. Mixture.
All in there.
The spice blend.
Yes. So we're just going to toss this all together. This is our topping for the broccoli once it's done.
So is the heat that's left in the pan sort of helping things along?
Yeah, we're going to warm up the eggs and it'll help to melt the cheese, combine that. But you don't need to put this on heat because, yes, the residual heat, because we just took this all off. The breadcrumbs got done first and then the onions. Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
So there's the onions,
That's really good.
the breadcrumbs. I could eat this just by itself. Oh, and by the way, this leftover on top of a salad is delicious cold. I love it cold. You may want to reheat it if you have leftovers, if you have any leftovers. But there's the topping. So we're going to wait for the broccoli to cook. We'll show you what that looks like and we'll put it all together. The broccoli has been cooking for about 7 or 8 minutes for us. We like that, so come on and take a look. I'm going to turn this off, and it's still bright green, which is very nice. It's still tender crisp. It's not, if you want this cooked longer, feel free to cook it longer, but this is how we like it. So we're going to put this all together and have a little taste. Let's put it all together. Here's our steaming hot broccoli.
Yes.
The nice topping warm. It's very simple. You can arrange this on top. Again, you can use the whole stalk of the broccoli if you want. I kind of like the broccoli crowns for company. I just think it looks a little bit more elegant. So in everything goes. It's slow for me because I'm doing this backwards again. And that's it. Sean, are you ready to try some broccoli polonaise?
I certainly am.
Then let's do it. An alternative vegetable for your Thanksgiving dinner or anytime like today, because it's not Thanksgiving today. Actually, we're filming this on Halloween, so very cool. Would you like to try some?
Sure.
Bring your bowl over. It's a little messy, okay? That's my disclaimer. You just want to get in there, get some broccoli.
The broccoli looks really good.
Get some of the topping, and
that's great. Thanks.
There you go. Scoot this over for me, and voila. So I really like it. It's got a lot of different flavors, and again, adaptable cooking. If you don't like thyme, try parsley. You could use basil, oregano.
Broccoli looks amazing, like the color.
Yeah, well, again, if you overcook it, the bright green goes away. So let's have a taste. I'm going to try and learn from my past mistakes and just have a little bite of this for the camera. But I want it all.
Oh, wow. That blend really comes together. It's crunchy.
Guess who overtook food again? Me.
It's okay, I'll do the talking. It's good.
I love the breadcrumbs. It's a texture. It's nice and crispy, but moist. They're not dried out. Again, I think the oil, in addition to the butter, toasting the breadcrumbs really makes them stay a little bit moister, but still crispy. How does that happen? It's magic.
The onions really add a lot.
Yeah, I love the caramelized onions. I just think I love.
They kind of pull the whole thing together.
I could eat them in anything. It's sort of the beginning of French onion soup, which we may get around to eventually.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You love French onion soup.
That thing is complicated.
It is. You have to cook the onions long and slow and low, but we'll get there. It's not that complicated. You'll make it. I make it. He helped make this, everybody, so you can make this. So happy Thanksgiving. Please subscribe somewhere down below. Follow us on Instagram, on Facebook. Sean can't cook, but John can. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Yum.
It's good.